Hey everybody, DK, Mr. V Amps here. We've got a couple of auction finds for you. This will be our November edition, I guess. This thing, you can find these online. Um, Electronic Design Specialists, aka EDS, DCR and ESR Cap Analyzer, number 88A. Now this is designed for smaller, kind of solid-statey kind of capacitors, basically between a half and 2200 microfarad. DCR has something to do with resistance to ground. I'm not a zillion% sure what that is. I have to probably look it up and research it, but ESR is equivalent series resistance, and of course if we have a cap that goes high ESR, then it's usually time to replace it. Now these are the tweezers or the probes that you would actually use to touch the terminals of the capacitor. So you can tell right now this was geared for working on boards more like this than on a big old tube amp. But it's pretty cool and it's fast and it allows you to check things in circuit. So if you're just looking for a rubbish capacitor, you know, you can just go right down the line, as it were, and it will hopefully give you some good feedback here. Well, that probably, I wasn't across the capacitor, I was between two that are both ground. There we go. So that one reads 0.75, and that is a 10 microfarad cap. So 10 microfarad cap at 4.75 is acceptable. So you can just kind of go down the line here and test a whole bunch of caps and just look for one where the ESR is ridiculous. And you know, it's just designed to help you quickly rake through a circuit and find the problem child, if you will. And I'm trying to even find where these are wired in so I get them correctly here. So I can check like this row. That one's a little high because that's only a 10 and the ESR is 4, so that would be down in the yellow zone. That one's kind of crappy. So if it's kind of crappy, you know, we'd pull it out and check it out a circuit. But these meters are still in production. They came into B in 2007. No, 1997, and they're still in production today. And they're pretty darn expensive. So to find one from, you know, somebody who's no longer able to use it anymore at his estate auction, I'm glad to have it, and we'll give it a good home here. Oops. All right. You can see the ESR number will jump around depending on how good my connection is. But yeah, so that again, if you're sniffing a circuit board, looking for a cap that might be failing or might be, you know, a little on the weak side, this is kind of a quick way to sniff through and find, you know, the problem child. More geared toward low voltage, maybe a solid state practice amp or something like that, than opposed to a big tube amp. But pretty cool. And then we have one other thing that honestly I don't know how to use yet, but we'll see if it explodes when we plug it in. Okay, so this is an ICO 147A signal tracer, and it has a lot of various functions that I'm not even sure. I know it has a power transformer or an output transformer tester thing, and you can basically adjust your speaker here. I've seen guys like Shango use these like when sniffing through a radio to figure out where signal dies, and I'm fairly certain we could use this to sniff through an amplifier, you know, as opposed to the O-scope, where if I was just trying to find my tone and see if it's weaker on this side or stronger on the other side, something like that. This is, I guess, guys who follow Mr. Carlson, this is the earlier version of the thing he calls a super probe, which is kind of his modified version of that. So I suppose we'll probably have to service this to get it going, but per usual on this channel, the guy who used this stuff, I mean, that cap checker actually had a new healthy good battery in it, so maybe this thing hasn't been serviced. Maybe it does work. let's see. Okay, so I turn it on and I can feel electrical hum in it. Let's see if our iTube lights up. Not some. Oh yeah, here we go. It made a little buzzy noise. Oh yeah. Got a little bit of buzz in my pot there. There's our iTube. Okay, so I can hear things. I'm getting some stuff through the speaker. Yeah, so there's some signal there. It's hearing the static off my finger. So that's looking for RF. And then there's audio. I'm not hearing anything on audio. But again, I don't know what I'm doing. And then there's noise. And there's different wattage settings. Again, I have no idea how to use this. I'm going to have to probably get a manual for it, which should be straightforward and easy to do. But it's a good start because our Magic iTube over here looks good and it appears to want to work. So we'll open this up. Obviously the audio amplifier part of it, when I go to, you know, test speaker or whatever, test amplifier speaker, or when I turn it up or down or whatever, our speaker here isn't going really loud at me. But it was, let's see, under RF, yeah, see you can hear me. So, but when I take the probe away and there's nothing to probe, it's quiet. So I think this may have had a cap job at some time or another. Seems like we probably have some connectors to clean up and some general stuff. And there's a couple of missing screws. But maybe the missing screws mean that our technician friend who had this before me actually did some work on it and kept it up to speed. Like I say, judging by the other stuff that was at this auction, I'm going to guess that dude was a radio hobbyist. So this may very well be in good workable order right now. So that's our November auction finds. I just thought that was kind of cool stuff. And you know, I think this will come in useful. I honestly do have to learn how to use it. But our little cap checker, again, I think that'll be useful too. Primarily on like maybe pedals and little practice amps and things like that, solid statey kind of things, just to give them a quick sniff through and look for some bad stuff on our big high voltage tube amps. ESR at high voltage is definitely different than ESR at, you know, super low voltage. But you know, I think it's cool. I think it's a good auction find, and I figured I'd have to, you know, at least say hello to all of our YouTube visitors. Thanks for anybody who watched the last live stream we did. And for everybody who's wondering about the jukebox, yeah, I'm still working on it. In estimate, I don't think it's run probably since Ronald Reagan was president. So it's the grease has really turned to glue, and there's a lot of work to be done. And I've been a busy dude. So anyway, on this nice windy, stormy afternoon here in the Cleveland, Ohio area, y'all have a great day.